Dr. Elara Vance had spent 12 years preparing for the moment the stasis chamber cracked open. 12 years of decoding signals, drafting treaties no one believed would matter, and dreading the possibility that humanity had made a catastrophic mistake. And now, as she stood inside the subterranean vault of the Xenobiology Institute, alarms pulsing red across the walls, she knew the moment had finally arrived. The alien, catalogued simply as specimen A07, was waking up. His body unfurled like an origami structure remembering its original shape. Limbs elongated, plates of iridescent bioarmor shifted along his spine, and eyes like molten silver snapped open. The air vibrated around him, reacting to his presence. Elara swallowed hard. Every instinct screamed at her to back away. Instead, she stepped closer. "Can you understand me?" she asked, voice steadier than she felt. The creature's gaze flicked to her, sharp enough to make her breath hitch. A moment of silence stretched long enough for her heart to pound painfully against her ribs. Then a voice echoed not through the room, but inside her mind. "How dare you look at me, human?" The psychic words slammed into her skull, cold and contemptuous. Elara staggered back, clutching her head. She'd prepared for linguistic barriers, for mistranslations, for hostility, but not telepathy. I'm the first contact specialist," she managed. "I'm here to help." The alien rose from the chamber. He stood nearly 7 feet tall, posture perfect and still, too still. His presence was a gravitational force. Every step he took made her feel smaller, weaker, profoundly observed. A flicker of amusement glimmered in those silver eyes. "Help. Your species plundered the ruins of my vessel. Your scientists dissected my soldiers. And you speak of help." Elara's stomach twisted. "We didn't know what we found. Your ship crashed over a century ago. We thought it was abandoned." The alien tilted his head. "Ignorance is not innocence." But then something strange happened. His posture softened. His eyes dimmed from polished metal to something she might almost call human-like. "You are not like the others," he said aloud. His voice, real not telepathic, was deep, resonant, and hauntingly calm. "You approach without weapons. I didn't want to start with battle." A low hum vibrated from his chest. Laughter. Disbelief. She couldn't tell. "You assume you could win one." Before she could respond, a blast door at the far end of the chamber slid open. Security forces stormed in, rifles raised. Their commander, a wiry woman with stern features, barked orders. "Dr. Vance, step away from the containment unit." Elara froze. "No, wait, don't threaten him." But it was too late. The alien turned toward the soldiers, and the air around him warped like heat on desert sand. Rifles trembled in the guards' hands, metal groaning under invisible pressure. One man cried out as his weapon crumpled like a tin can. "Stop!" Elara shouted. "They're scared. That's all." The alien's energy flared brighter, but then dimmed. He looked back at her. "You fear me, yet you do not flee." "Why?" "I fear what will happen if we don't talk." She took a step forward, ignoring the commander's horrified shout. "Please, walk out of this with me, not as enemies." The alien studied her for several long, unbearable seconds. Then he dismissed the soldiers with a single glance, rendering them motionless, not unconscious, simply suspended as though time had been paused around them. Elara's eyes widened. "What did you?" "They are unharmed," he said. "I dislike unnecessary violence." Unnecessary, not unacceptable. He extended an arm, long, elegant, layered with shifting plates. "Come, human. You would speak with me." Then let us speak without distractions. Elara hesitated only a moment before placing her hand in his. His skin was cool, not slimy or rigid, but smooth like polished stone. As soon as she touched him, her mind swam with faint impressions, fractured memories of starfields, ancient wars, and a loneliness so vast it swallowed light. He gasped. His voice whispered through the thread between their minds. My name is Kaler, last sovereign of the luminary Concord. I'm sorry, she whispered. Kaler led her into the adjacent observation hall, quiet and empty except for a holographic table projecting his ship's fractured data. He touched the projection with a fingertip. Stars rearranged themselves into constellations unknown to any human chart. Your race awakened me earlier than intended, he said. My people are gone. I felt their absence the moment I awoke. Elara felt grief tighten her throat. We didn't know. And we can't change what happened, but we can still choose what comes next. Kaler looked at her with an unreadable expression. Why do you care, human? Your leaders will chain me, or dissect me, or turn me into a weapon. I won't let them. The words tumbled out before she could second-guess them. You're not a prisoner. You're a survivor. Like us. For the first time since waking, Kaler's intensity fractured. Something gentler flickered beneath it. You speak boldly for someone who fears me. I fear what I don't understand, she admitted. But that doesn't mean I stop trying to understand. He stepped closer. Then understand this. I could end your species with a thought. Yet here I stand speaking with you. Why? She whispered. His silver eyes softened, truly softened for the first time. And he smiled. A strange, elegant expression, subtle and radiant. The answer, he said, is simple. He leaned down until his gaze locked with hers. Because you looked at me. Elara blinked. I what? When I awoke, surrounded by fear, weapons, and hostility, you looked at me without hate, without hunger, without calculation. His voice lowered. I have crossed galaxies, waged wars, buried civilizations. And in all that time, no one has ever looked at me the way you did. She felt her breath hitch. How did I look at you? As if I were not a monster. The room fell silent. Humans shouted on the other side of the sealed doors, alarms still screaming, but inside the hall only two beings stood. One human, one alien, bound by an improbable thread of connection. Kaler released her hand slowly. What will you do now? She asked. His smile lingered, mysterious and unguarded. I will decide, he said, whether humanity is worth sparing. Elara swallowed. And my looking at you changed that. It changed everything. The doors behind them buckled under pressure. Soldiers would break through soon. Time was running out. Elara drew a shaky breath. Then come with me. Not as a prisoner. As my responsibility, as my guest. Kaler considered her offer. The air shimmered faintly around him. Finally he nodded. Very well, Dr. Vance. Lead, and I shall follow. And your people? She asked softly. Kaler's eyes dimmed. Not with power this time, but with sorrow. Gone. But perhaps, not entirely. What do you mean? He looked at her with that same unexpected, disarming smile. You looked at me, human. And for the first time in 1,000 years, I see a future. Doors burst open, soldiers flooding in, only to freeze when Kaler raised a hand, not in threat but in peace. Elara stepped beside him. Stand down, she commanded. He's with me. The soldiers hesitated, but did not fire. Kaler glanced at her, silver eyes glowing softly. How dare you look at me, human? His voice echoed gently in her mind. He smiled back, because someone had to. And together, they walked forward into the uncertain dawn of a shared destiny, one that neither humanity nor the stars would ever forget.